Did I just speedrun a game on the highest difficulty only for the sake of this video? The answer is yes. Hello and welcome to Platinum Review, a series where we talk about some amazing games, break down the roadmap to Platinum Trophy, and I share with you my thoughts on whether you should add another Platinum Trophy to your collection. This week I want to talk about the latest third-person Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 3 Remake. This game was released in 2020, just a year after Resident Evil 2 Remake, and a piece of trivia for you, those two games were supposed to launch side by side in one package, which kind of makes sense. They were eventually split up to avoid delays though. In RE3 we are following Jill Valentine, a STARS member from the original Resident Evil game, as she tries to escape Raccoon City that fell victim to the T-virus pandemic, which by the way what they actually call it in the opening cinematic of the game. So just to reiterate, Capcom released a game about a pandemic in the beginning of 2020. The game introduces new mechanics like dodge, and it's actually pretty easy to execute. Okay, maybe not that easy, but you don't feel as powerless as you were in RE2 if you somehow wasted all your ammo, which to be fair, if you are playing on standard or even hardcore difficulty you probably never will. I replayed the game twice for the sake of this video, and on standard I was swimming in ammo and supplies and I was killing almost every zombie I saw on the streets of Raccoon City, because...
he's a professional.
So am I.
No, stop it Capcom, I'm not giving up this easily. One of the main differences of this game from RE2 is the fact that you are not stuck in claustrophobic police station for most of the game and can explore Raccoon City streets. That is, until you realize how small environments actually are, and here comes my main grief with this game. It's just too damn linear. Okay, now before you report me to your local authorities, let me explain. In RE2 the maps, generally speaking, were pretty small as well, but there were a ton of different routes you can take, and as you progress you would unlock more shortcuts, puzzles and other rooms you couldn't access previously. I remember that on my first playthrough of RE2 I did so much backtracking, and doing that with Mr. X chasing me always had me worried, so I had to be calculated and make tough choices. For example, I got the spade key, right? And now I know that in the basement there is a spade door, but the tyrant is chasing me. Also there's a hallway full of zombies I didn't clear yet, so I'll have to go around, but oh no, Mr. X is behind me, I'll have to go through there anyway and risk getting grabbed. In this game I never had to be worried about things like that. I mean, you do a little backtracking, but it's nowhere near the same extent like you do in RE2. In the end of the day, if you beat it once, you will pretty much know where to go and which route to take. And yes, Nemesis is a thing and he will chase you, but for me he didn't feel as threatening as Mr. X, even if he is technically faster and has more abilities. Also, this game is short. Really short. I replayed it after not touching it for almost a year and beat it in 3 hours on normal difficulty without infinite weapons and while doing as much looting as I could. To be fair, I did have a general idea of where to go, so it might take you a bit longer on your first playthrough, but it's pretty short nevertheless. Enough with the negatives though, I have to say I did enjoy the game for what it's worth. It's not nearly as scary as RE2, which when I think about can be both a good and a bad thing, depending on your preferences. Combat is pretty decent, you are encouraged to be slow and methodical and not to rush in, because even though it's more action oriented than RE2, it's still a survival horror game. So some areas have a great atmosphere, like when you get to the hospital and encounter hunters for the first time, and the thing about them, they can and will kill you in one shot and they take a lot of bullets to take down, so you have a choice between killing them and wasting a ton of ammo or trying to avoid them. I did enjoy the story as well, as we did get more sneak peeks into Umbrella and what actually happened. Oh, and you are playing as Carlos for a bit as well, and his sections are pretty fun too. I would say that this game is definitely worth playing, just don't expect it to be as good as Resident Evil 2, but enough about that. Let's talk about trophies. The Platinum Trophy is the easiest one in the whole Resident Evil series. That being said, it doesn't mean that it's easy. You will have to do a minimum of 5 playthroughs. Unless you buy the all item unlock DLC for just $4.99, which is something I definitely didn't do. Okay, before you judge me, there is no way I would have replayed the game 5 times on a new account and finished this video on time. Sacrifices needed to be made, but more about that later. You can start by doing your first playthrough on assisted difficulty without healing, while also getting all the collectibles and miscellaneous trophies. That might sound like a lot, but it really isn't. First of all, on assisted difficulty your health regenerates from danger to caution and you get a full health back in a couple of sections, although to be fair the second part happens on other difficulties as well. As for collectibles, I actually really like how Capcom does it. When you start exploring, the room will be marked red on the map, and if you found everything there is to find, it will become blue. That way you know that you can move on, so as long as you make sure that every bit of the map is blue, you don't really need a guide, although it would make things a bit easier. Also, most of the collectibles carry over between playthroughs, so even if you missed anything, you can pick it up on one of the 500 times you have to finish this game. There are a couple of missable trophies, but again, if you are aware of them, it's not a big deal, and you have 20 manual save slots that you can and should use strategically. The next step should be to grind out points for Infinite Rocket Launcher, so you could perform an ultimate Uno reverse on the Rocket Launcher Nemesis, and you might as well get a couple more shop items like recovery and defense coins, hip pouches and combat manual, which will make the next steps considerably easier. To get the points, you will have to farm in-game challenges by simply reloading saves, and because they save instantly, it shouldn't be that bad. I mean, not that I know anything about it, because... well... After that, you will have to finish the game unassisted again, this time without using item boxes. It's a bit trickier, but as long as you pick up all the hip pouches and unlock everything so you can discard your key items, it's not that bad. I actually found it a lot easier than RE2 because you don't have as many puzzle items you'll need to pick up. The reason you can't really do it on your first playthrough as well is because you will have to pick up all the guns, which count as collectibles, so you will likely not have enough inventory, and getting hip pouches from the shop prior to this playthrough will make it so much easier. When you're done with all the assisted playthroughs, you can just blast by hardcore and nightmare difficulties to unlock Inferno mode. Now, if you bought the DLC, you can just jump straight into Inferno and finish the game in 3 playthroughs, but I would actually advise you to at least play the game on Nightmare first, and there's a really good reason for it. On Nightmare and Inferno there are different enemy spawns, and because you don't have autosaves on Inferno and you need to get an S rank for which you need to finish it in under 2 hours while saving 5 times or less, you should practice on Nightmare at least once before you attempt the S rank Inferno, which is easy with an Infinite Rocket Launcher, right? Right? Well, kind of. The time limit is not that bad if you know where to go, and as long as you remember enemy spawns, they are no match to your rocket launcher. But if you mess up and miss a zombie or a hunter, you will have a very bad day, especially with the Nemesis, because he is moving very quickly and can dodge your rockets. One of the hardest parts is the intro, because you don't have access to rocket launcher in this section, you don't have enough ammo to kill all the zombies, and dodging on Inferno difficulty without shop items is rough. Or so I thought, because upon replaying this part a few days ago, I literally did it on my first attempt. But I remember struggling for almost an hour on this part the last time I attempted it about a year ago. What was even more annoying is the part that I had to redo this entire 10-minute section every time I messed up. After getting the rocket launcher, it really wasn't bad though. Actually, most of the boss fights are a joke, as they are over in just a few seconds. You know what, I'll just show you so you'll see how ridiculous it is. By the way, I haven't died once until the last boss fight, and I'm telling you this so you'll see that it's really easy as long as you remember enemy spawns. That is, until you make it to the last boss fight. There things take a sharp turn, because the weapons you have make no difference, and he has this awesome combo that will kill you in one hit. This one literally took me 21 attempts, but after 40 minutes I managed to beat this section. While we are on the topic of dying on this run, every time you die, make sure to quit to the main menu and manually reload save instead of pressing continue or reloading from the death screen, because otherwise the time between the last save and death will add to your in-game time, something that you don't want because, you know, it's a speedrun. By the way, if you want to see my full Inferno speedrun to use it for reference, I linked it in the video description. It's unlisted, but you can see it with the link in case you're curious. After doing all that, you should unlock the Platinum Trophy. So, should you Platinum Resident Evil 3? Yes? I mean, as long as you like survival horror games and you have a bit of patience for the harder parts, then you definitely should. It looks tough on paper, but in reality it's not as bad, and I always said that I really like how Capcom does trophy lists for Resident Evil series, this game included. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to me as I make gaming and trophy hunting content at least once a week. Thank you for watching.